Good day, my name is Bluesuit and today I'll be going over my review of the early access first-person tile-based sci-fi RPG known as StarCrawlers Chimera. In StarCrawlers Chimera, you play as a lone mercenary who's tasked with the lucrative job offer to infiltrate the Chimera Biopharma complex to seek out the mysterious Dr. Cerberus and collect your bounty. You'll combat your way through corporate levels of tile-based procedurally generated floors fighting killer robots, sludge monsters, cyberpunk ninjas, and many more. The gameplay is entirely turn-based, and with each action and movement, the enemies patrol, move, and attack on their own as well. This format has started becoming more popular in recent years, with franchises like Vaporum, Might and Magic, and Legend of Grimrock picking it up. While it's not a totally smooth experience yet, StarCrawlers Chimera does improve upon the system by allowing you to freely look around with the camera while still being constrained by the tile-based movement, allowing you to aim your shots at specific enemies in view and even sneakily around corners. Currently, only the first 3 levels in StarCrawlers Chimera are playable, but each one is fairly large and has plenty of secrets, side quests, and several bosses, as well as their own themes as you make your way from the cubicles on the first floor past the armory of the second into the laboratory down below. Right now you can get through all 3 in only a few hours depending on how much of the side content you hunt down. Everything on each level is completely optional, but as you progress the enemies level up significantly, so it's often best to eke out every last experience point you can before descending. The bosses in each level, who are also optional, are even more difficult as they often have 10 times your health and can quickly overwhelm you if you aren't strong enough. The loot they drop isn't even necessarily better either, as all equipment and weapons in the game are completely random, so you're just as likely to pick up a legendary from the corpse of a regular grunt as you are a boss. Still, they are a fun and challenging way to test the strength of your character. The most addicting part of StarCrawlers Chimera right now, however, is in its character creation and progression. When the game begins, you can choose 7 skill trees to load to your character out of an available 36. I mentioned that it only takes a few hours to get through the game, but the reason that I have over 20 hours in right now is because it's so addicting to try different combinations of these skill trees to find powerful characters. There are presets that you can use that fit into these archetypes of infantry, assassin, and hacker, but I can't imagine anyone actually using them beyond their first playthrough, if ever, because it's so much more fun to create your own. In fact, I'd prefer it if I could make my own presets once I'd found a character build that I really liked. There are some obvious balance issues this early in development though, so don't expect to fall in love with all of the skill trees right off the bat, but there's already a good mix that includes the staple skill trees for each weapon type, as well as really creative ones where your character can summon the void, be a pirate, control enemy minds, or mutate into a fire-breathing dragon. And even though some skills in the game aren't implemented yet, I'm really impressed with how much freedom of choice there is in how you can build your character and how certain skills from one tree work together with certain skills from another. One of my favorite trees in the game is the Void Psyker, a heavy psi power user who summons tentacles and chaos fire to destroy enemies from a distance. It's a bit of a glass cannon skill tree, and worse yet, the more you use your abilities, the more the creatures of the void will randomly appear to strike you down. It's a lot of fun to balance keeping your void energy down while still pummeling your foes, but it can drain your energy very quickly, so it's often a good idea to pair it with the pirate class, so you'll be able to chug your grog bottle whenever your reserves get too low. Don't drink too much though, or you'll throw up everywhere. Each class's skills, passive, and stat boosts feel unique, yet they're all easy to pair together, but some only really work well in certain situations. The prototype class, for example, lets you turn your body into a killer robot. You basically become RoboCop with your toughness and a few cool gadgets, but you lose access to most kinds of healing. So you'll have to pair it with several other skill trees that double down on boosting your survivability. StarCrawlers Chimera does though suffer from some classic early access woes that players should be aware of before picking it up. The first of which I already briefly touched on, and that's in the actual amount of content in the game. It is an addictive and highly replayable game already in its current state, but with only 3 levels, it really borders on being only a demo of a full game. Especially because at the end of the 3rd level is really when it feels like your build is starting to take off and become powerful, and that's when it gets shut down. Items and skills, however, do feel plentiful, but there are still more in development, so that's a plus. The other downside is that there is definitely a strong presence of bugs that need ironed out. Some of these are minor visual bugs and even comical, like walking inside an enemy when you both try to step on the same square, or finding a piece of gear that awkwardly takes up the whole room. On the other hand though, some of these bugs can be quite frustrating, like when the game stops tracking your side quests properly and you can't finish them, or when you get stuck in an animation you have to restart the game. You can pick up StarCrawlers Chimera when it launches into Steam Early Access on November 16th, 2021 for $20. But like almost every other Early Access title, it's not going to be worth quite that at launch. It's off to a great start with engaging combat, fun abilities, and a highly replayable game loop. However, for now, those successes are pretty heavily undercut by a lack of content and progression. So I'm valuing StarCrawlers Chimera at $15 in its current state, and I'm excited to see more creative content come to it soon. I hope you enjoyed this review of StarCrawlers Chimera. Come see me on Twitch where you can watch our reviews in progress 5 nights a week. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Until next time, peace!